Superpowers are not just found in movies. Some humans can hold their breath for over 10 minutes underwater. Others thrive at altitudes where most people would collapse within hours. Let's uncover 12 of the most remarkable tribes on Earth, whose bodies have adapted to violate what we consider the basic laws of human biology. The Bajau, often called the sea nomads of Southeast Asia, are among the most striking examples of how humans can adapt in recent history. For many generations along the coasts of Indonesia, Malaysia, and the Philippines, they lived almost entirely on the water, staying on small boats and diving every day for food with only simple wooden goggles and handcrafted spears. This demanding life in the ocean led to unusual physical changes. The Bajau have spleens that are about half again as large as those of nearby groups, a change linked by researchers to a gene known as PDE10A. This gene affects spleen growth and supports the release of oxygen-rich red blood cells when they dive. Because of this, Bajau divers can regularly reach depths of about 30 to 70 meters and stay underwater for around 8 to 13 minutes, sometimes making hundreds of dives in a single day. Over many years, they also developed clearer vision underwater, stronger control of the body's diving reflex, and a greater ability to handle pressure shifts. These cultural habits and biological traits together show how a community can adjust to survive in demanding conditions, giving the Bajau a reputation as the closest humans have come to living like aquatic creatures. Do you think the Bajau's ability to dive for extended periods and survive in the ocean is a result of human evolution? How many seconds can you hold your breath? Let's discuss in the comments section. The Sherpa people of Nepal are famous for being the world's superhuman high-altitude athletes due to their unique biological and cultural traits that help them thrive in the thin air of the Himalayas. For centuries, they have lived at elevations ranging from 3,000 to 5,000 meters, where oxygen levels are much lower. Over time, the Sherpa have developed special genetic features, such as variations of the EPAS1 and EGLN1 genes, that allow their bodies to use oxygen more efficiently. Unlike most people who adapt to high altitudes by increasing the thickness of their blood, Sherpas keep their hemoglobin levels lower, have wider blood vessels, and possess higher capillary density. These adaptations allow oxygen to flow more easily and reduce strain on the heart. Their muscles are equipped with highly efficient mitochondria, which naturally burn fat rather than carbohydrates at high altitudes, giving them exceptional endurance and helping to minimize fatigue. In addition to their biological traits, Sherpas are expert mountaineers, with generations of experience navigating treacherous terrain, including glaciers, icefalls, and avalanche-prone areas. This makes them an essential part of nearly every Everest expedition. They can carry heavy loads at extreme altitudes, resist altitude sickness, and perform safely in the death zone. The Sherpa people are one of the clearest examples of recent human evolution, showing how humans can adapt both biologically and culturally to survive in some of the harshest environments on Earth. Next, let's meet the tribe whose endurance could rival the greatest athletes in the world. The Hadza of north-central Tanzania are among the last true hunter-gatherer societies, living much as early humans did for thousands of years. They are known as ultra-endurance hunter-gatherers for their exceptional stamina, efficient metabolism, and deep understanding of their environment. Each day they walk 15 to 20 kilometers, hunting with handmade bows, tracking wildlife across rough savannas, and gathering berries, tubers, and honey. Their constant physical activity has been compared to running a daily marathon, yet chronic diseases common in modern societies are almost absent among them. Their strong health is closely tied to their highly diverse gut microbiome, which shifts with the seasons. During the dry season they rely more on meat and honey, while the wet season offers berries and tubers. This changing diet gives them metabolic flexibility that many populations lack. Hadza children gain physical resilience early in life, climbing trees for honey, carrying wood, and following small animals. Their endurance is supported by extensive ecological knowledge, including identifying many plant species, telling apart edible and toxic roots, predicting animal movements, and navigating the wild with confidence. Honey gathering is one of their most valued skills. Men climb tall trees to reach beehives, facing the risk of aggressive bees while securing an important energy-rich food that supports their demanding lifestyle. Their way of life now faces growing pressure from land loss, agriculture, tourism, and modernization, cutting their territory by up to 75 to 90%. Even with these challenges, the Hadza offer vital insight into human evolution through their resilience, adaptability, and enduring health. The Masai are one of the best-known ethnic groups in East Africa, living mainly in Kenya and northern Tanzania. Behind their colorful clothing and jewelry is a long history of resilience. The Masai are Nilotic people who migrated south from the Nile Valley region centuries ago. Their journey was challenging, but they expanded their cattle herds and strengthened their identity as pastoralists. In the late 19th and early 20th centuries, rinderpest and drought caused major losses of both people and livestock. Soon after, European settlers took control of much of their land. By 1911, the Masai had signed a second agreement with British authorities that pushed them from fertile regions into less productive areas. Even with this history of displacement, the Masai remain one of Africa's most recognized pastoralist communities. Although wildlife reserves have reduced their territory, groups living near areas like the Masai Mara and Serengeti still reflect their deep connection to the land. They have long coexisted with wildlife and protected their cattle from predators such as lions. The Masai are semi-nomadic and move with their herds in search of grazing. Cattle are central to their economy and social status. They are used in marriage exchanges and form the basis of a diet centered on milk, blood, and meat, which supports their strength and endurance. A well-known tradition is the adumu, the jumping dance performed during the Unodo ceremony. As boys become warriors, higher jumps show strength and maturity. Their skill has drawn interest from many observers, including Joe Rogan, who has noted their ability to jump without modern training. For the Masai, the dance carries cultural meaning and symbolizes readiness for adult life. Enjoyed the video? Don't just stop at the like button. If you're watching on your phone, hit that hype too. It only takes a few seconds, but it helps this video reach way more people. And now let's follow another tribe with incredibly amazing underwater vision. Often referred to as the Sea Gypsies of Thailand and Myanmar, are a semi-nomadic people whose lives have been deeply influenced by the waters of the Andaman Sea for centuries. What makes them especially remarkable is the unique ability of Moken children to see clearly underwater. From a young age, Moken children spend a lot of time swimming, diving, and looking for shellfish and sea cucumbers in shallow waters. Because they dive regularly from a very early age, their eyes adapt in two remarkable ways. They can shrink their pupils by up to 22% more than European children, and they can change the shape of their eyelens more effectively, allowing them to focus sharply underwater. These changes reduce light distortion and make their underwater vision about twice as clear as that of non-Moken swimmers. Interestingly, this ability is not inherited but learned and developed through constant exposure to diving. The Moken's connection to the sea goes far beyond their eyesight. They traditionally lived on handmade wooden boats called kabang, using them as mobile homes while following seasonal marine migration routes. Their diving abilities are comparable to those of expert freedivers. Moken divers can easily collect food from the seafloor, hold their breath for long periods, and control their buoyancy and movement with impressive skill. Even their bodies show subtle adaptations to their aquatic lifestyle, such as larger spleens than average and better breath-holding techniques, which help them supply more oxygen while submerged. Culturally, the Moken have a deep understanding of tides, currents, winds, and marine ecosystems. This traditional knowledge saved many Moken communities during the 2004 Indian Ocean tsunami. Elders recognized unusual sea patterns and led their people to higher ground just minutes before the wave arrived. However, modern challenges, such as forced settlement, restricted access to traditional waters, and the loss of boat-building rights, are threatening their way of life. The Tibetan Highlanders are one of the people born for low-oxygen life. For thousands of years, they have lived on the Tibetan Plateau, at altitudes ranging from 3,500 to over 5,000 meters. In this environment, where oxygen levels are 40% lower than at sea level, most humans suffer from severe altitude sickness. What sets Tibetans apart is their genetically inherited ability to thrive in these conditions, thanks to unique variations in genes that control the body's response to low oxygen levels. Unlike other high-altitude populations, Tibetans do not increase their hemoglobin levels, which would thicken the blood and put extra strain on the heart. Instead, they maintain normal hemoglobin levels and produce higher amounts of nitric oxide, which helps widen blood vessels and improve oxygen delivery. Their lungs are larger, their breathing rates are naturally faster, and their blood vessels are more efficient at transporting oxygen. These adaptations allow them to carry out daily activities, such as herding yaks, farming on steep slopes, and traveling long distances, without feeling fatigued, experiencing headaches, or suffering from the dizziness that lowlanders often face. Genetic studies show that some of these traits were inherited from Denisovans, an ancient human species, making Tibetans a rare living example of interspecific evolutionary advantage. Do you think the Tibetan Highlanders' ability to thrive at such high altitudes is proof of human evolution adapting to extreme conditions? Let me know if you think yes, like me. The Tsimané people of the Bolivian Amazon are often called the world's healthiest hearts, a title backed by extensive medical research, including long-term studies from the Tsimané Health and Life History Project, and a groundbreaking 2017 study published in The Lancet. Living in isolated forest and river communities, the Tsimané maintain a traditional lifestyle centered on hunting, fishing, foraging, and small-scale farming. Their daily routines are filled with physical activity, walking 15,000 to 17,000 steps each day, paddling canoes, chopping wood, farming, and gathering food, which leads to extremely low rates of obesity and metabolic diseases. Their diet is just as important. They mainly eat wild plants, manioc, corn, plantains, nuts, fruits, fish, and lean game, with very little processed sugar, salt, or fat. Because of this, Tsimané adults have some of the lowest levels of arterial plaque ever recorded. The heart health of a 70-year-old Tsimané is similar to that of a 40-year-old from industrialized countries. Researchers have also observed that the Tsimané maintain healthy cholesterol levels, stable blood pressure throughout life, and strong heart function even as they age. While they do face higher rates of infectious diseases due to their environment, these do not seem to affect their long-term heart health. Despite facing physical challenges and limited medical care, their bodies age more slowly in critical areas compared to people in industrialized nations. The Tsimané offer a living example of how humans evolved to live actively, with whole foods, and in supportive communities, providing a valuable case study of what optimal human health looked like in the past and could look like again. The Inuit people of the Arctic, who live across Greenland, Canada, and Alaska, are often called cold and fat-rich diet specialists due to their remarkable adaptations to extreme cold and high-fat diets. For thousands of years, the Inuit have thrived in one of the harshest climates on Earth, where winter temperatures can drop below 40 degrees U, and plant-based foods are rare. Their traditional diet, which mainly consists of marine mammals, fish, and Arctic animals, is extremely high in fat and protein. Despite this, unlike most populations, the Inuit do not suffer from the cardiovascular diseases typically associated with high-fat diets. This is because of unique genetic variations, which allow them to process omega-3 and omega-6 fatty acids more effectively. This helps lower their triglyceride levels and maintain stable cholesterol, making their bodies well-suited to a diet rich in seal, whale, walrus, and fatty fish. Beyond dietary adaptations, the Inuit also have traits that help them tolerate the cold. They have a higher proportion of brown adipose tissue, a type of fat that generates heat to keep the body warm. Their metabolism works slightly faster, producing more heat, and blood flow to their extremities adjusts to reduce the risk of frostbite. Inuit individuals also show higher levels of thermogenesis, which means they produce heat even when at rest. This allows them to function, hunt, and travel in freezing temperatures without experiencing the same stress that non-Arctic people do. Culturally, the Inuit developed insulated clothing made from caribou hide and sealskin, as well as igloo-building techniques that trap heat. They also have a deep understanding of ice, wind, and sea conditions that helps them safely navigate their environment. The Aboriginal Australians are one of the oldest continuous cultures in the world, having lived in Australia for over 50,000 to 65,000 years. Over this vast period, they developed remarkable adaptations to both desert and tropical environments. In the dry, hot interior, where temperatures often rise above 45 seconds, Aboriginal groups developed extraordinary ways to manage heat. These included better sweating mechanisms, lower body temperatures at rest, and a strong ability to endure dehydration. Their bodies are more efficient at conserving water, and their metabolism adjusts to intense heat in a way that reduces heat stress compared to most other populations. In the deserts, they survived by gaining an in-depth understanding of the environment. They could track animals, find hidden water sources, gather edible roots and seeds, and use fire in a method known as fire stick farming. This involved setting controlled fires to promote plant growth, attract animals, reduce the risk of wildfires, and influence the environment long before modern land management techniques were developed. In the tropical regions of the north, Aboriginal groups adapted in different ways, creating unique systems for living along coasts and in rainforests. These systems included advanced fish traps, dugout canoes, fermentation methods, and specialized tools for collecting shellfish, yams, and rainforest fruits. Their cultural practices, such as songlines, oral maps encoded in stories and rituals, served as navigational tools, allowing them to travel across vast and varied landscapes. Genetic studies reveal that Aboriginal Australians have a long history of adapting to different regions. Some groups developed enhanced night vision, while others evolved physical traits suited for long-distance travel across rough terrain. Despite facing colonization, land loss, and modern difficulties, many Aboriginal communities still preserve traditional ecological knowledge, a testament to their deep connection with one of the most challenging environments on Earth. The Turkana people, from northern Kenya, are a nomadic pastoralist group who have adapted to one of the hottest and driest regions in Africa. They live in the harsh, arid land around Lake Turkana, where temperatures often exceed 40°C. Water is scarce, and vegetation is limited. Their traditional diet, which mainly consists of milk, meat, and even blood from their livestock, reflects the challenges of farming in such a region. A groundbreaking genomic study in 2025 revealed that the Turkana have developed unique genetic traits to help them survive in this extreme environment. One of these traits involves the STC1 gene, which improves kidney function and helps the body retain water more effectively. These genetic adaptations support their way of life, where walking long distances under extreme heat, enduring constant dehydration, and eating a high-protein diet are daily routines. For thousands of years, the Turkana have moved across the desert in search of water and pasture, always carrying with them a deep understanding of the land. However, as more Turkana people begin to live in urban areas and adopt modern diets, scientists have raised concerns about an evolutionary mismatch. This means that the genetic traits that once helped them survive in the desert could now pose health risks in more sedentary or high-salt environments. The Chukchi people live in the northeastern part of Siberia, in the Chukchi Autonomous Okrug of Russia, one of the coldest and most remote regions in the world. While it's not the absolute coldest place on Earth, their environment still experiences extreme cold, with temperatures regularly plunging below freezing. They are skilled hunters and herders, using their deep knowledge of the land and wildlife to survive in this challenging environment. In the 1700s, the Chukchi resisted Russian attempts to conquer their land, with the Russian army failing after several costly campaigns. The Chukchi's fierce resistance and resilience in the face of external threats remain a key part of their history. Spiritually, the Chukchi believe that after death, the soul journeys to the realm of the polar star, reflecting their deep connection to nature. Their burial customs, which include placing items with the deceased, also emphasize this connection. Today, efforts are being made by both local and international organizations to preserve the Chukchi's culture, language, and traditional practices, ensuring that their unique heritage is protected in a rapidly changing world. The Huarani people, also known as the Huarani, are an indigenous tribe living in the Amazon rainforest of Ecuador. With a population of about 4,000, the Huarani have lived in isolation for centuries, resisting contact with the outside world. Their language is a linguistic isolate, unique and unrelated to any known language family, setting them apart from other tribes. Their deep connection to their land is central to their identity, and their Amazonian territory is vital for both survival and cultural practices. Over generations, they have learned to navigate one of the most biodiverse environments on Earth. The Huarani have historically protected their land from external threats, notably during the 20th century, when oil exploration and logging began to encroach on their territory. The Ecuadorian government granted oil concessions in its ancestral lands, leading to significant environmental damage and social upheaval. The Huarani have resisted these developments through protests and legal challenges, fighting to preserve their way of life. However, modern industry continues to threaten their culture and land, with deforestation and resource exploitation at the forefront of the risks they face. Traditionally, the Huarani were semi-nomadic hunters and gatherers, relying on the rainforest's resources for food and shelter. They hunted animals like monkeys and peccaries, gathered plants and fished, using their knowledge of the jungle to track animals and move through the dense forest. As external pressures increased, many Huarani have transitioned to permanent settlements, though some still live in traditional ways. This shift reflects the pressures of adapting to the modern world while striving to preserve their cultural heritage. Despite these challenges, the Huarani have resisted assimilation into mainstream society. Many choose to live without contact with the outside world, rejecting efforts to integrate them into the national economy and political system. This decision reflects their strong desire to maintain autonomy and preserve their customs. Their resilience in the face of overwhelming external pressures stands as a powerful testament to their strength and enduring cultural identity. The 12 remarkable tribes demonstrate that human potential extends far beyond what most people consider normal or possible. Their abilities are not supernatural but represent the incredible plasticity and adaptability inherent in human evolution. They prove that our species can develop solutions to environmental challenges through both genetic adaptation and cultural knowledge accumulated across generations. These tribes offer living laboratories for understanding human potential and windows into how our ancestors survived and thrived in diverse environments across the planet. Don't forget to ring the bell, share it with your friends, and hit that subscribe button if you haven't yet. And if you want to continue exploring human potential beyond natural challenges, watch my video about people with superpowers recorded on camera. Click on the card that appears on the screen now to enjoy the video. Thanks for being with us. Leave a comment, like to show your support, and remember to hit that subscribe button for more exciting videos. See you next time.